Welcome back! Today we are working on another ABC build challenge. Specifically, we are working on the O'Neill house. Now, the O'Neill house, they are related to, like, Quinn, they're related to a lot of Sims, but this specific O'Neill house is Eogan, his wife Acacia, his son from a previous marriage to Amanda O'Neill, his name is Diarmid the Younger, and his son with Acacia, whose name completely escapes me. He's a newer Sim, so I'm like, I don't know. He's on Tumblr. But, essentially, when they went to Tenby, he, before the rebellion, was on track to become a bear, and his wife was incredibly ambitious. She was horrified that his younger brother, Quinn, had become a werewolf. It was like, family secret, tell no one. Just sheer horror. She actually had him removed from the house and sent to live with his uncle because she just didn't want it to impact their lives or her children's lives. Amanda wasn't a bad person, she was just kind of difficult. So yeah, she caused a lot of strife. She caused a lot of strife with his sisters. She caused a lot of strife with his brother, like, just a lot. She died during the war. He went to Tenby because Quinn, as a werewolf, could navigate Tenby safely. And he kind of was just like, alright, let's plan B it. The O'Neill family always ran a spice market. He was the heir of that business. And he just did what he did best. He went back to finding something that he could do to make a profit. That something was actually flower arranging. Now, I actually have a hider, so I need to remember to take it out and make sure that I have a default for it. But I currently have a hider that is hiding my flower arranger, so I wasn't able to place it in the lot. I placed like an herb potion-y type station as a placeholder, but it's meant to be a flower arranger. And yeah, that's what he decided to do, because Tenby is filled with a lot of beautiful, rare flowers that are only found in Tenby, obviously because it's magic. But yeah, and that's what they do now. They run a floral arrangement business thing that he's hoping is going to be a lot more prolific now that the borders are kind of open a little bit. I had a lot of trouble with this lot. I was not happy with the roof, like, at all. I just couldn't get it the way that I wanted it. I was real mad about it, for the most part. I'm still not entirely thrilled with it. I finally got it to the point where I liked it, but I struggled. I don't know why I struggled so badly. This is like the second or third thing that I built after I came back from my little trip. And I just could not, every time I would do something like here, the roof was being weird. It's okay, well then I need to fix the frickin' roof. And then I didn't like how it looked. I was real mad, just in general. Real mad, and still mad. Not as mad as when the Fjord lot crashed at the very end of me building it, and I had to rebuild the whole thing, which it did. I didn't mention it in the voiceover because I kind of forgot, because I had a couple days to decompress and have complications from surgery, so I forgot about it. And then I remembered at the very end when I was watching through it. I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. I was real angry. Not as angry as I was at this house. But it's cute. It works for them. They're a fun household to play, especially Acacia, because she's an over-emotional Sim. So she's all over the map, especially because she has a daughter from a previous marriage as well. And he actually has, Eogan has a son, Oisin, as well, but, he's just, like, not as concerned about Oisin. Like, he just assumes he's dead. Which is fair. Like, they did not expect Tenby to ever be revealed. They kind of have had a lot of time, at least 15 years, more like 17, to kind of adjust to the fact that they're never going to see their families in their former home again. And now, suddenly, they are. So, it's brought up a lot of feelings, and for a Sim like Acacia, she is just not having it. She's not handling things very well. She's not happy, and she's making it everybody's problem. And I support that. Good for her. She should. Now, for this lot, I did struggle a bit with the outside as well. Like, Tenby is I'm kind of starting to get a feel for how I want it to look, this new version of it. I love these Carcassonne windows. I just think that they're perfect. They're a little bit off, a little bit kooky, but still medieval. So they work well, but there's something different that can kind of make these homes stand out from Adiran proper, which I wanted them to. I didn't want them to look the same as Adiran because this is a magic little village. Yes, these people are from Adiran, None of these buildings were really here except for the Shrine of Kinnereth. Like, they put it all together themselves, but at the same time, they've been gone a long time. So things that made sense to them in Adiran, like, maybe they've changed, you know? They've changed. Really wanted to put a circle window here. I know that there's a way to do it, but I got lazy and I was just like, fine, we're just not gonna have a circle window here because the game doesn't want me to be happy. I even thought about doing a shuttered window, but they still were not. Wasn't it? Wasn't it? And that's okay. Sometimes it's just not it. I do like the mixture of colors on this building, I will say, like the brick with the roof. I do change the roof, I think, one more time, but I had fun with colors. My main things, though, were making sure that, you know, there was obviously a flower arranging station. There was going to be enough space for the two boys, Diarmid and the little one. Diarmid's actually going to be the schoolmaster, I've decided, for Tenby. Mostly it was inspired by the fact that I don't think Nazario would let any child of his not have an education, but he's not exactly a teacher. But Diarmid is a family sim. You know, he wants to get married, but there aren't a lot of options right now, and so it felt like it was a good fit. I was originally going to put the schoolhouse on a different lot, and I was like, why don't I just put it on their lot? They've got a large lot. I don't want to fill it with flowers, especially because they're going to have to take care of them, and I only have so many plastic flowers, so screw it. We're going to put the schoolhouse in this lot. But I didn't decide that until a little bit later. I was feeling it out as I went, because a lot of these Sims, I haven't decided what their careers are. Like, I've been giving them a Max's career just so they do something during the day, but like, I haven't really thought about it. That's something that I'm going to really push myself to do for round 2 is, okay, what is this person's actual job? What do they do? What is their place in the world? Where's the money coming from? I've said before, Adiran is not an integrated neighborhood, but I liked it. It needs to at least make some sense. That's my one requirement. So yeah, he's going to run the little schoolhouse. I'm going to use the sim logical school items. He shouldn't have too many students. Off the top of my head, there's 2. There's his brother and Iolanda, because the other O'Neill kids are not old enough. It's weird to say O'Neill that many times. It sounds weird, but whatever. Yeah. They had a kind of glitch in their lot. I don't know what was going on, but like, walk-bys would get stuck. So they ended up having like walk-by cats stuck in their lot for a while and just walk-by Sims, and so I just started deleting them because I'm like, alright, you're not supposed to be here, why are you in the house? I couldn't greet them or anything, but they also just couldn't leave, so not sure what that was about. I'm trying to be more mindful of the lot edges. That's a problem in a lot of the apartment lots I built. I wasn't really considering that because at the time I wasn't going to use Max's jobs, and I changed my mind. Which is problematic because nobody can get to the school bus or get to the job when it's blocked, so that is a problem for future me to deal with. You can see here's where I decided, let's just put the schoolhouse here. I've got enough areas for flowers. There's not a ton of like pickable flower options anyways. Sun and Moon has a couple options, but just not enough to really justify. I just wanted to make it look like there's a lot of flowers here. Presumably they're doing something with them. I was also listening to a review of a book that I really want to read now called oh jeez, I can't even remember now. Lattes and something. God, I was going to mention it, and now I don't know. It's a D&D book about, like, an orc running, like, a latte. A coffee shop, basically. And I'm really into it. Seems like it's a casual thing that combines my interests, so why not? So I'm going to have to pick that up. I'll try to remember to put a link down to what I'm thinking of. God, why can't I think of it? I literally was just like 10 minutes ago, oh, I should talk about the book that I was hearing a review of. Nope, don't remember. I did read other books recently that I really, really, really enjoyed. I read the first book in the Shawlmance series by Naomi Novak. Super good. Highly recommend. It's an interesting take on fantasy. Some people are being weird about it, but everybody's weird about something. I personally didn't see, like, people are trying to say it's racist. I more saw it as characterization. If a character's whole identity is everyone expects them to be evil and their skill is languages and they need skills to survive, they're gonna start thinking about people in terms of what they bring to the table for them. So languages. So I think people just maybe didn't understand that, but I personally found it very good. Another one I read was, while I was on my trip, was White Trash Warlock, which I didn't realize. I read 2 books that I didn't realize were like series, so I'm mad at myself, because basically just started 2 series. White Trash Warlock is great. It's fun, it's kind of campy, it's not super serious, but it still has your serious elements to it, so I'm curious where it goes. I didn't get to finish my 3rd Temier book, I just ran out of time and energy. I've been rereading The Wheel of Time because I'm doing an in-depth kind of catalog of all of the fashions within Wheel of Time, because we all joke about how Robert Jordan just goes off on the fashions, and I really wanted to see, well, what does he actually say? What details are there? And it's interesting what details he picks out. So far, lots of cloaks in the early books. Our early book, I'm only on the first one, but a lot of cloaks and swords. So we're not getting in those elaborate dress descriptions that we do get into. I'm thinking that Robert Jordan maybe held it in, but he really wanted to go there, because we know he wants to go there, because we know that he goes there. So yeah, it's been interesting to say the least. I'm also doing a side kind of review of my interpretations of Egwene. I always say Egwene because that's how I pronounced it in my head when I first read it, it's Egwene. Because when I first read the book, I didn't like her, and some people take umbrage to that, and I'm like, oh, well, why didn't I like her? And why do I still kind of not like her? And so that's been interesting as well, just to explore my own feelings, and because we all react to books different ways, but sometimes it's hard to separate, like, your own biases and what you're putting into that character that's not really there. And I recognize that within myself, like, yeah, I was in a small town that did not like me, and she kind of reads small town girl, and a little bit like the girls that didn't like me, so I can see where I was getting a little bit of my own environment rubbing off on the character. Totally see that. So I have a dog who's being very needy right now because I've been sick, and she does not like it, and she does not understand, and this is not part of the routine. So yeah, I picked out a couple different flowers, and I had no idea what to do with this yard here. I was like, more flowers. These ones are actually plastic roses. I think they even spawn butterflies, which is kind of cool, but yeah. And I messed up my spacing like a bajillion times for these 2-tone roses. You have no idea. I thought I got my spacing right, and I did not. And I didn't get it right again. Like, I'm not quite there yet. I'm working on it, but like, my brain levels are still pretty not great, must be said. I'll get there though. I'll get back to where I was. Yeah, see, I was still not there, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I didn't realize A, that the little entrance was off, but B, that I was counting wrong. Judy, no. But yeah, I fixed it. Looks fine. They will have to take care of the other flowers, which I'm not thrilled with, but eh. And then I decided to go totally ham on the garden in the front. I have no idea why. I think this is probably why people get stuck in a lot. This is exactly the problem that I'm denying is there. I go freaking bananas. I don't know why. I just felt like it. Sometimes you just are like, yes, I'm gonna put so many plants right here. And I did. And I'm not sorry. I can't even remember if I cut that out or not. I don't think I did. This is a very long video for this exact reason. Is I just like, yes, plants. So many plants over by his garden. Because he's just a wholesome little family sim. You know he'd want a nice, pretty little garden, but I'm probably going to have to move some of the garden because it's annoying to walk by and get stuck. And yeah, I have no idea really what the future holds for them. They're kind of low-key. I know that a big motivation for this is something I might add in round 3, but I'm testing it out now, and for round 2 is like a current motivation, so not like a lifetime want, but like something that they're currently really driven to do. Like as a person, it could be something small, it could be something major. For Acacia, that thing is to rescue Daisy. She hasn't seen Daisy since she basically had to leave her behind, thinking that she would absolutely not make it in 10B. It would be a death sentence to bring her. So she left her behind, hoping she would survive, and she did. But now she feels incredibly guilty that she left her daughter behind to be basically an indentured servant. And she wants to do something about it, but at the same time, like, what can she actually do? Because this is going to raise a huge problem with Arndt Blumenthal as well. Like, now that he's kind of got an idea of what he's going to do with Tenby and how he's going to respond and make it so it's not a threat to his kingdom, like, what happens with all of these families who were separated? Like, obviously he kind of solved the marriage thing by just hand-waving, but you know what? If you were married to somebody and this separation happened, this is nobody's fault, like, they don't count, kind of thing. Nobody really likes that response, but, like, they also are like, yeah, I have built a new life. This is awkward. Let's just go with it. It's fine. What's not fine now is we have people living in Tenby who basically just skipped the bill. They took off. And, you know, he's not going to punish them because that's just going to stir up old wounds, but at the same time, they have family members living as indentured servants. It's not the way that it was under the Kenton regime, which the people in Tenby don't really know yet. It's still all very new. This one round is kind of like a year, and everybody's at different points in the year. I don't really specify what point they're at because I don't want to. Like, I prefer not to set points, because some people it makes more sense, even though they're in the end of the round, that it's towards the beginning of the round for them. Like, I just don't specify. I just consider it to be roughly a year, and obviously aging happens when it happens. Like, I'm not too finicky about it. But yeah, that raises up a lot of problems for especially people like Acacia. She's like, no, we have to get her out of there. Well, Arndt can't basically free everyone, so he's going to have to consider, well, who are we actually going to allow to be freed in order to maintain this peace that we have? Who are we not going to allow to be freed? I mean, there's people that he's not going to free, like Amadeo. I can't ever see him freeing him just because of his bloodline. Like, there's just no way. It's not safe for him to do that. He wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. So, you know, how do you make that decision? Who do you pick? Daisy's probably a safe choice, but then at the end of the day, indentured servants are helping making Gadir and run, and if he doesn't have them, well, who's running the country? Yes, you can have peasants, but that's not cost effective so much. So yeah, that's definitely a complication that has arisen. A lot of things are arising, and so that's why I have an overarching theme for each round, kind of. It's like, round 1 was, oh, we've discovered Tenby, now what? Round 2 was going to be, okay, Tenby's acceptable, now what? Like, just a general theme. Some Sims are impacted by it more than others, some don't give a hoot, and that is their prerogative. Like, they don't have to give a hoot. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed watching this build. I had a lot of fun putting together once I liked it, and if you enjoyed the video, definitely give it a like, and I will see you in the next one.